in creation. The elements, which were confused in chaos, obeyed by ordering themselves. Recall here the words of Genesis, so as not to say that the spokeswoman hears badly. Genesis 1, 1-3. God created heaven and the earth was formless and empty, and darkness covered the face of the abyss. And the Spirit of God moved over the waters. And God said, "Let there be light." Air, water, fire, and light were then made, but they were not separated and ordered. God commanded them to separate and order themselves according to the law he was giving them. And they obeyed, and have been obeying for thousands of years, making the day and the night, the seas and the lands, and fire working in the veins of the earth to prepare the minerals man needs. Obedience in creation. God, after having made heaven, that is, the strata of the atmosphere, sprinkled them with stars, commanding them to follow a certain immutable course. And the stars obeyed. God, after having made the earth, that is, after having rendered matter compact and ordered, first scattered and confused with dust and water, created the plants and animals of the earth and the waters, and commanded them to fructify and multiply. And animals and plants obeyed. Then came man, the creature king of creation, and God gave man the command of obedience. And man's obedience would have maintained the earth in the state of an earthly paradise, in which death, hunger, wars, misfortunes, illnesses and weariness would have been unknown. A joyous sojourn of peace and love in the friendship of God would have been man's life until his passing on to the heavenly dwelling, the way it was for Mary Most Holy, who did not die, but fell asleep in the Lord and awakened in his bosom, beautiful and glorified, with her perfect spirit and faultless flesh. And Satan did not want this joy of man, this joy only slightly inferior to that of the angels. And to make up for the difference between men and angels, with the joy of having children without concupiscence, which is always pain, and without pain, the fruit of concupiscence. And man seconded Lucifer's desire and disobeyed, bringing upon himself and his descendants all the consequences of disobedience, which is never good and always creates ruins. Since then, because man's spirit was contaminated with disobedience, the characteristic of Satan, only those loving God have been able to obey. And on this foundation, which is the spirit of obedience, sanctify themselves.